September 14, 2014, from Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California, was the Chicago Bears at the San Francisco 49ers, and the Niners home opener in the first game in the regular season at Levi Stadium. The Niners won the coin toss and they elected to defer, so the Bears started off with the ball and they went 3 and out. And then they went to punt, but the punt was blocked by Lynch, and the 49ers took over on the Chicago 8-yard line, poised to score. And 3 plays later, Colin Kaepernick found Michael Crabtree for a 3-yard touchdown to put the 49ers up 7-0. So now the Bears had the ball and they would punt for the second consecutive drive, but this time it wouldn't be blocked though, and the Niners would take over on their own 19-yard line. They drove down the field all the way to the Chicago 9-yard line, but would be forced to settle for a field goal after a false start penalty pushed them back a little bit. And so it was a 27-yard field goal by Phil Dawson to make it 10-0 as the 49ers extended their lead. The Bears now took over with about 3 minutes left in the first quarter as they brought the first quarter to an end as they were driving into San Francisco territory and across midfield. But they would be forced to punt as their drive came to a stall early in the second quarter, and now the San Francisco 49ers took over. So the Niners had the ball at the 50-yard line. Colin Kaepernick dropped back to pass, and the ball was intercepted by Chris Conte, and the Bears got the ball right back at their own 32. They wouldn't get anything done on the drive, though, as they would be forced to punt the ball if they went 3 and out. The Niners now had the ball with about 8 minutes left, a little less than 8 minutes left before halftime, and they made it into the Bears' territory when Colin Kaepernick had a nice scramble for 15 yards to cross midfield all the way to the Chicago 30, but then on the next play, he fumbled the ball, and Chicago recovered as Jaron Allen lit him up after he got about 4 yards, and the Bears ended up with the ball as McCray recovered, and now Chicago had it on their own 20-yard line with about 5 minutes left before halftime. So Chicago had the ball on the 20-yard line, but 2 plays later, they would fumble. They recovered the fumble, but that put them back on their own 2, where they would end up punting from their own 1, and now San Francisco took over on the Chicago 30 with about 3.5 minutes left. And 4 plays later, Frank Gore scored on an 8-yard touchdown run that put the 49ers up 17-0, as they scored 17 unanswered points to begin this game and to open Levi Stadium in the regular season. The Bears now took over with about 2.5 minutes left before halftime, and Jay Cutler marched them down the field 80 yards in 7 plays, capped off by a 17-yard touchdown to Brandon Marshall, their first connection of the night, which put the Bears on the board at 7 points as they trailed by 10, 17-7. The Niners would then end up bringing the game to halftime as they went into the locker rooms with a nice lead of 2 scores. The Niners then would take over to open up the second half, and they would march all the way down to the Bears' 5-yard line, but on 2nd and 4, Hyde lost 2 yards, and on 3rd down, Gore only gained 1, and that would set them up for a 24-yard field goal attempt, and Phil Dawson kicked it, and it was good, and the 49ers now led 20-7. The Bears now had the ball with about 6 minutes left in the quarter, and they brought the quarter to a close with a long drive as they made it all the way down into the red zone. And then in the 4th quarter, Brandon Marshall and Jay Cutler scored their second touchdown of the night, this time a 5-yard touchdown pass, and it was 20-14 as the Bears now only trailed by 6 points. So now the San Francisco 49ers took over with about 13.5 minutes left, and on the first play of their drive, Colin Kaepernick drops back to pass and is intercepted by Kyle Fuller. So Kyle Fuller, the rookie, intercepts the ball and gives the Bears possession on the San Francisco 3-yard line right there. 1st and goal from the 3. And what happens? Jay Cutler finds Martellus Bennett for a 3-yard touchdown to put the Bears ahead by 1 point, 21-20. So now the Niners take over with still about 13 minutes left in the quarter. They started driving as they were approaching midfield, but then a penalty brought them back, and Colin Kaepernick on 3rd and 12 dropped back to pass, and once again for the second time in this quarter, Kyle Fuller intercepts Colin Kaepernick and gives the Bears back the ball in San Francisco territory. So the Bears would start this drive on the 42 of San Francisco with about 9 minutes left in this game. And 4 plays later, Jay Cutler connected with Brandon Marshall for their 3rd touchdown of the night, a 3-yard touchdown that had been set up by an Alshon Jeffrey catch of 29 yards 2 plays earlier. So the Bears were now ahead 28-20 as they had an 8-point lead with about 7 minutes left to play. The Niners now took over. They put together a drive, driving all the way to the red zone as they made it to the Chicago 17-yard line, but it was 4th and 9, and Colin Kaepernick, his pass was incomplete, and the Niners turn over the ball on downs, and the Chicago Bears take over to take 2 knees and bring this game to a close as the Bears upset the Niners in Levi Stadium in the home opener, 28-20. And in this game, Jay Cutler was 23 for 34 with 176 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. He also rushed for 25 yards off of 5 carries. Colin Kaepernick was 21 for 34 with 248 passing yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. He also had 66 yards off of 9 carries, and both quarterbacks were the leading rushers for their respective teams. Frank Gore also had 63 yards off of 13 carries. The leading receiver was Michael Crabtree with 82 yards and 7 receptions as well as a touchdown. Brandon Marshall had 48 yards off of 5 receptions, 3 of which were for touchdowns. But the real difference in this game was those 2 interceptions by Kyle Fuller. The rookie from Virginia Tech comes up huge in this game for the Bears to upset the 49ers. He also had 7 tackles. Patrick Willis had 8 tackles. And together, the Niners only combined for 1 sack, whereas the Bears combined for 4 sacks. So Justin Smith got another sack after getting 2 sacks in week 1. He gets 1 sack in this game. And Young got 2 sacks for the Bears. So the Bears beat the 49ers on Sunday Night Football 28-20.